It's kind of crazy because the TJ Watt rumors are kind of swirling at the moment the last couple of days. And I really think we got to talk about that. I have to give my opinion on that. And we have to talk about 2 pre-draft visits because the Philadelphia Eagles brought in the man at safety, Malaki Starks. And we have to talk about that too. So let's get straight into it all.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? The Horror's having a fantastic day today. This video is sponsored by BetUS, so definitely go check them out if you guys have not, okay? So we have a lot to discuss here. We might go on a little rant. We might, I'm going to be realistic as I always am, but the TJ Watt stuff, it's kind of coming around a little bit. There were some reports coming out. The last couple days have been kind of crazy, okay? That the Eagles are the betting favorites to trade for TJ Watt. That's going into the last year of his contract, 31 years old. Guys, I feel like we're in another situation right now where there's one guy that starts a tweet and then it just follows up with everything else. Yeah, USA Today, sure, it's it's a big news outlet, so maybe you'll hold some water a little bit with that, but how much do we really take from that, to be honest with you? I mean, with TJ Watt, would he fit Vic Fangio's system as an off-ball linebacker to an edge rusher? Oh, hell yes. Is he that good? We all know that. Hell yes. We know what he could do. To see him line up against next to Jalen Carter would be, the league should be feared. Okay, we know this, but the whole point of this offseason from Howie Roseman was to sign some low-cost, high-rewarding free agents, which the Eagles have had with Uche and Ojulari and some of these other guys. Zach Bond has really been your only realistic big signing, was your number one priority signing of the offseason. And when you're drafting really well and your contracts are doing pretty good and guys are locked up, you can't go out and spend a lot of money, okay? You can't restructure as many contracts as you want. They can do whatever they want, but you don't want to have those bigger cap hits down the road either. It's almost remind me of the Myles Garrett situation, okay? I think the Eagles maybe they called the Steelers. Maybe they're going around trying to find that, Aiden Hutchinson type player, which I still think they need on this team, okay? It's already shown us already that the Eagles brought in a lot of defensive linemen, edge rushers, DTs, and so far it looks like they might go for the first edge rusher or not the first edge rusher, but one of the best edge rushers or DT. So I think it's definitely going to be defensive line going to this draft. So obviously if you get a TJ Watt, then they probably don't need to add more to that edge rushing position since they already have 2 other guys that they signed to 1-year deals at that position, as well as Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith. I mean, having TJ Watt, it's a game changer, but for me, it's like, until I hear this news from something more resourceful, I just can't believe it too much. Okay, like these edge rushers are getting paid $30 plus to $40 million a year. That's why a lot of these teams that are not going to trade for edge rushers. Like, why would you trade for an edge rusher when they're so expensive? The news came out literally a few days ago to a week ago that TJ Watt was looking for a big contract extension. And at 31 years old now, he wants to make as much money as possible. These guys at the end of their careers, or not the end, but near on the late ladder of their careers, that they want to make as much money as they possibly can and get those big contracts on small little yearly, couple year deals. The Eagles haven't been in that situation this year where they're looking for a guy like this. It's just, I'm sorry, when you picked up Uche and Ojulari and somebody, I guess you're adding more competition. You're adding guys that can really make a difference. And I'm very, very high on those guys. But if they surprise us with a trade like this, then I don't see them carrying this guy on a multi-year deal. Obviously, Howie Roseman in the past has traded 4th, 5th rounders for guys that have 1 more year left on their contract, but low cap numbers. I don't know if that's even possible with TJ Watt, to be honest with you. And I understand people are hyping this up, and it would be great. I would love him. There's no doubt about it, but I have to put my realistic eyes on and say the Eagles haven't shown us that they're going to do something like this. Okay, there was rumors from Adam Schefter that the Eagles will be trading for a veteran player, but it could be on draft day. So I wonder if, hey, maybe the Steelers or I don't know, another team that they might trade. It won't be for a running back. It most likely would be for a corner. It could be for an edge rusher, DT. I mean, they might trade for somebody. There are rumors they might trade for a veteran type player. But at his caliber, I don't know. I mean, this would be a dream, obviously. I was on the Myles Garrett trade when it first happened, and then I kind of panned off of it because it was just getting to a point where the Eagles just won't be able to afford it. And I think that's going to be the same thing with TJ Watt. He's had an injury history as well. I know he got hurt last year, but he started the next game. I think he got hurt in our game. He had an ankle sprain in that game. And talk about the player that TJ Watt is. Yeah, he's one of the best edge rushers in the league. There's no doubt about it. He'll have way more than double-digit sacks playing next to Jalen Carter. Okay. So I'm just going to stay quiet on this for now until things really get serious. But for me, it's just one of those, sure, Howie Roseman's going to make the phone call, but after hearing the price, he's just going to hang up and walk out the door. I mean, that's just the way I kind of think of it right now I like our defensive line situation. And to be honest with you, I've been very much embracing, really since the start of this offseason, that we're really trying to start young guys. Okay, there's nothing wrong with trading for a veteran or something like that, but cap space wise, financially structured, we're not in the mix for shit like this at all. I just don't see it happening. I don't. If TJ Watt wants to come here for less money and say, just give me a 1-year deal, I want to be with a contender, and I love the defensive line for the Eagles. Let me come, then fine. If that's the direction he wants to go. But guys at his age don't want to take less money going to a contender for 1 year. Come on, Myles Garrett talked so much crap about the Browns not being a contender, and look what happened. You know what I mean? He took $40 million a year like it was nothing. Okay, and good for him because no one's paying that type of money for edge rushers. That's why this draft class right now is that important. And the Eagles have the 32nd pick. So maybe that will push them because they feel like a lot of edge rushers or the one that they want, which I think is James Pierce Jr., is going to be off the board. And obviously some other guys are available too. So I don't know what's really going to push them to getting this deal done. But if it does get done, then the league better fear us. And they should still fear us even without TJ Watt. Like, I feel great about Jay Luxon. I feel great about Nolan Smith. I like Uche. I mean, Azeez Ojulari can be a 10, 13 sack guy. I'm not even kidding. Those two signings at edge rusher are big signings for the Eagles. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on those guys. And I get it. You signed them late. Some guys have injury histories. You sign guys late for a reason because they have injury history or they have, they just haven't played up to what they're supposed to be. So, and you take a chance on guys like that. That's why you have an off-season program. That's why you have training camp. That's why you have preseason games. But, I mean, realistically, if they sign TJ Watt, I mean, I don't know if they even sign an edge rusher at this point. They probably skip on that position, and it could be safety, DT, or fucking tight end. So, for me, I feel like Howie made the call and he's just thinking about it, or it's literally just not going to happen. So when I hear an edge rusher wants an extension, especially a good one, which I just heard last week that TJ Watt wanted that extension, then, Trey Hendrickson's not even signed yet. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to pay that price. Nobody does. The Browns are stupid. We know this. But no one's paying for it. Why do you think those guys aren't paid yet? So we just have to let this thing simmer a little bit. We have someone make the steak, put it in front of us, and let it sizzle. We are smelling the sizzle of the steak, but I'm not eating the steak yet because I don't think we're hungry for that steak yet. Okay, pause. But you know what I mean. But that's where we're kind of at with the TJ Watt thing. And start some bigger news outlets are starting to report the Eagles are trying to get this done. But I'm going to hold, I'm not going to go crazy on it. I'm going to hold myself back a little bit on the TJ Watt rumors and news and all that stuff. So we'll see what happens. We'll give it some time. Eagles training for a veteran. So if that's true rumors, this could possibly be it. How is it going to happen? I don't know because the money makes no sense. And that's where we're at as of right now. But some things we know that are true right now that we'll get into is, not only the Eagles had brought in 2 pre-draft visits, another 2 of them, and one that everybody is going to be excited for where we say, finally they did it. Malaki Starks comes in for a pre-draft visit for the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously a very rangy, he's a very rangy safety, back-end coverage, fantastic, pursuit, downhill, fantastic, you name it. Get his hands on the football, pushback attitude, you name it. Eagles have been looking at more day 2 safeties than really day 1. Okay, let's be realistic here. We got to say Malaki Starks, the Eagles did talk to him in that at the combine, and now on a pre-draft visit, it's going to get really interesting now. Okay. You're going to be meeting guys. There might be some guys they meet that are smoke screens or whatnot, but I think the Eagles have had legit, they've had legit serious interest in Malaki Starks. And, we just kind of have to wait till draft day because, you have a hole at safety, a hole at tight end, and they need might need an offensive lineman. I don't know, maybe later on, but Malaki Starks, for me, he's number 2 on my list as one of the best safeties in this draft. I would get him as a number 1. I don't even care at this point. He's that good. And, and the Eagles have had a lot of interest in, a lot of these Georgia prospects as well. Take that into account as well, because that makes a big difference. They like the mindset of those players coming out of that school, and kind of their, what they, the culture of that school. So Malaki Starks, pre-draft visit. It's great news. It's fantastic. I wonder if they bring in some other guys. They brought in a lot of safeties so far. Safeties and defensive line have been insane on these pre-draft visits. Okay, a few offensive linemen in the beginning, and then they brought a lot of defensive linemen and safeties. Okay, but they've looked at at least more day 2, second to 4th round pick type safeties than they have first round pick safeties. So we'll see where it goes, but this is really good news, though. Finally, they brought him in. And they had a second pre-draft visit where Kobe King, from Penn State, another guy that has got good physicality, downhill linebacker, pursues the ball really well, can get off blocks. I think there's times where there's weaknesses within his game where he turns the corner, whether he's covering running backs, stuff like that, where he struggles. But everybody is very high on his physicality and his toughness, and will be a 4th to 5th round projection in this draft. And I'm glad they're bringing linebackers in because, we don't know what's going on if we need depth at that position, number 1. Number 2, is Trotter Jr. the starting linebacker next to Zach Baun? Okay, Oren Burks, they totally missed out on re-signing him unless Oren Burks only left and signed somewhere else because he was going to get a starting job and maybe the Eagles were going to keep him as a rotating type player, as a backup primarily. So we'll see. But, Kobe King, bring on more linebackers. Totally fine with that. That fit Vic Fangio's system, and they need to add like another couple bodies. They might grab some undrafted guys, but linebackers definitely a big one. Obviously, Ben Van Sermon is going to work with the linebackers in the offseason program, but they're putting him with the running backs because he's listed as a full-time fullback on the active roster right now, So Ben Van Sermon's getting better every single year, but having that knee injury, he's coming off a knee injury. Obviously, you don't have Nakobe Dean either, coming off the patellar tendon injury. It really sucks, but we got to see how Nakobe Dean's going to look, by the end of the year, because we're not going to see him for a while, probably not until the playoffs, to be honest with you. So it should be very, we should be in a good groove to see what they get in this draft. I'm very excited going forward, man. It's an exciting draft, even being at 32, because I want to see how the board falls. I mean, look, you want to talk about trades, and there's that one veteran trade they're going to make. Is it TJ Watt? You guys let me know in the comment section below. Malaki Starks, how do you feel about the Eagles bringing him in on a pre-draft visit? And obviously, Kobe King at linebacker. How do you feel about the linebacker spot? Do you think Trotter Jr. will be the starter this year? I think Fangio feels really good about Trotter Jr., to be honest with you. I've always heard good things, and obviously Fangio doesn't bullshit anybody, so take it as that. So other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. Make sure you like the video because it helps out tremendously. Remember, me and Philly 500 will be streaming the draft all 3 days, so definitely check up on this channel for all 3 days of the draft. Give support, and do appreciate it so much. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Shakes what up, follow, peace out, guys. Peace.